Hello students, and welcome to the next lesson in our AS level psychology course. Today we're going to be finishing the course by looking at psychoanalysis. What is psychoanalysis? This is a therapy which is invented by Freud based upon the research and ideas he had with the psychodynamic approach. This therapy aims to bring the unconscious thoughts and memories to the conscious where they can be treated. This means that the patient will be aware of their unconscious forces which are causing them to have these undesirable abnormal symptoms, and as a result they're going to be able to treat them. Now there are two main types of psychoanalysis which can be used in order to do this. The first of which is free association. Here the client has a conversation with a therapist. This encourages the client to talk freely about any thoughts, allowing unconscious ones to emerge. When they do, the therapist can then tell the patient why they are having these maladaptive thoughts and maladaptive behaviors which are causing these problems. This is otherwise known as their abnormal behaviors. Now, an example of this can either be just a free conversation, or it can also be those examples which perhaps you've seen in films or in other psychology kind of related media, where there's a picture of kind of ink splatters on a sheet of paper that is made to look like a random shape, and then the person, the client, is going to tell the therapist what they see in that kind of splats of ink. Then that is going to tell them something which they see on an unconscious level and bring it to consciousness, and then the therapist is going to then be able to tell what their problem really is. They can then offer a solution when they know this problem in order to try and implement new ways to avoid having these unconscious maladaptive thoughts from happening again. This then prevents the abnormal behavior from actually happening. Now, the other type of psychoanalysis technique to treat abnormality is dream analysis. Here, the therapist is going to analyze the content of dreams, otherwise seen as latent content, and these symbols in the dream are going to be interpreted and discussed with their patient. This can help the patient by showing them how unconscious content in their dreams is actually going to conflict in their unconscious, in their, having the ego trying to balance the ID and the superego. And since the patient now knows of this conflict, the therapist can offer ways to try and suppress the ways in which they can prevent this unconscious conflict happening, and this will then result in them being able to suppress their abnormal behaviors. Now we're going to evaluate psychoanalysis. Firstly, it solves the cause of the abnormality, not just the symptoms. Now this is kind of debatable because you could say that the whole point of this kind of therapy is only to prevent you from thinking of abnormal kind of thoughts and emotions, but you can never really suppress the subconscious because it's an unconscious kind of field which is always going to be happening at all times. Now this pretty much means that it does kind of treat the symptoms, not just the cause of abnormality, but because we can't really feel the unconscious realm, I guess you could say that it does actually solve abnormality itself. Now, psychoanalysis doesn't really cause any physical harm, unlike drugs which can hurt you physically based on the side effects. Now, the big problem with this is that it's non-scientific. Just like psychodynamic approach, which was developed by Freud, this is only based on an idea and a theory. There's no scientific backing to suggest that dream analysis and free association are going to work, and most psychologists, or maybe not psychologists but scientists today, regard it as more of a pseudoscience and something which doesn't really make any sense. Also, it relies on accurate memory recall. When the therapist is going to be asking the patients about their dreams and about free association, they have to recall their dreams exactly, and they can't misinterpret anything, or else that could result in them having a different evaluation of a maladaptive thought, which is going to result into them having to give up kind of a different feeling or emotion, and that's not going to treat the abnormality at all. Also, the success rate is going to depend on the skills of the therapist. If the therapist isn't very good at analysing their latent content in dreams, or at analysing what they have to say in their conversation during free association, then he's not going to be able, or she's not going to be able, to treat the abnormality in their actual day-to-day life. Another negative criticism is that it's very expensive. Time with a therapist is very costly, and you can compare that to something like drugs, which can help you suppress certain behaviors which are less expensive. And finally, psychoanalysis does not work in the short term. It takes a long time for the psychologist to be able to analyze what's happening in your unconscious, and as a result that can actually prevent you from not being able to cure your abnormality in the short term. Here is a question about the processes of free association. Have a go at answering this as a lengthy essay perhaps on another sheet of paper by pausing the video, and then hit play whenever you're ready to see the answers. Here's the answer to how free association works within the psychoanalysis kind of way to treat abnormality. If you got this right, congratulations, and if you didn't, be sure to rewind the video or go over your notes once more to be sure that you didn't miss anything out. Now, thank you for watching. This has been the end of the course of the AS level psychology topic. As always, good luck in your exam and I hope you do well. Be sure to visit revisealevel.co.uk or the channel playlist so you can revise all of the AS level psychology videos. Thanks for watching and I'll see you again soon.